All right, you guys, let's talk about owning a home versus renting an apartment. So, my husband and I have been in this house for 2 months now. So, we have 2 months worth of bills in this home, along with years of living in apartments, to now compare to each other and really decide which one is more expensive month to month and which one is more expensive overall. I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about whether it's better to rent or buy, and honestly, it can really vary depending on the person, depending on the area you are living in, and depending on your financial situation. So what I'm going to do is show you the comparisons side by side for us and in the Denver metro area, so that way you can kind of see what we are comparing and get a better idea if you are looking into buying a home, what you can expect those costs to look like. Now keep in mind that, again, depending on where you live and what your financial situation is, these costs are going to vary a lot. This is just supposed to be kind of a general overview, and to give you just a really baseline idea of what this might look like. So let's hop right into it. We were renting a fairly expensive apartment. It was a 2-bedroom plus a loft. They called it a 3-bedroom, but it wasn't quite because the loft was pretty tiny. We used it as the baby's bedroom, and for an adult to be in there, it would be a little difficult. So it was we'll call it a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Our house now is a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom with an unfinished basement that will be another bedroom and full bath once it's completed. Along with that, the apartment that we were living in was just under 1,300 square feet, and the house that we are living in is just under 2,500 square feet, with the whole lot being 5,900 square feet. So it's quite a bit bigger. And then obviously there's a lot of variance in taxes. We don't live in the same city, but we do live in the same area. So we are within 20 minutes of where we used to live, and the prices are really comparable for rent and owning in both spots. So let's start with the apartment. We were paying a rent of $21.95 per month. Keep in mind that our sister-in-law was living with us at that point, and so she was paying a chunk of that, but I'm just going to look at the total numbers here because not everyone would live with a roommate, and you could live with a roommate whether you're in a house or an apartment. So $21.95 for rent, $14.24 per month for renter's insurance, $7 per month for trash, $27.50 was the average over a 12-month period for water. Our internet was $50.21. Pest control was $1 a month. That was through our apartment. Sewer was $20.28 over a 12-month average. Gas was $8.66 over a 12-month average. Our electric bill was $135.15 over a 12-month average. There were admin fees for our apartments. That was $3.15 per month. We didn't pay any taxes. All of that rolled into the rental cost. And then we also paid pet rent for $25 per pet. We have 2 pets, so we paid $50 a month in pet rent, bringing our total at the apartment to $2,512.22. So we'll call it $2,500 just to give it an even number. Then we have the house. Now the house mortgage is a little bit different because our mortgage also includes money in escrow, which pays for taxes and insurance. So if you combine the mortgage, the insurance, and the taxes all together, that's actually our monthly mortgage payment. I split them out for the purpose of this video so you can see the comparisons. So the mortgage in this house is $16.75 The insurance is $112.62. I don't know where I'm getting these numbers. Trash we pay quarterly, but when you divide it out by month, it is $18.75 per month. The water bill is $94.84, and that's over an average of just the 2 months. And obviously we can only do so much with our averages on that because we haven't lived here for that long. So just bear that in mind, that the water and other bills like the water might fluctuate more as we continue to live here. The internet in this area is slightly more expensive, so we're paying $68.09 per month. Pest control, we went and found a pest control company because we do have a lot of like rocks around us. We needed to get it sprayed for spiders. We've had a lot of issues with that since moving in. So that is $44.58 a month. Again, that's a quarterly bill, so I just divide that up by 12. Sewer is $8.97. Gas has averaged $25.15. Our electric has averaged $168. Obviously, we have no administrative fees while living here. Our annual taxes, monthly taxes, when it's divided out, is $288 a month. And then we don't have any pet rent. So when you add all of those up together, the house total monthly is $2,504.46, making it a whole $7.76 cheaper to live in our house. Now, there are a few things that factor into a house versus an apartment that you can't really compare in numbers. I mean, you can to a certain extent, but I'm just going to list those out for you so that you can kind of keep those in the back of your mind. So, as far as apartments go, apartments can get expensive for a couple of different reasons. When my husband and I were living in apartments, we literally moved every single year. Part of that is because the rent would always go up, usually between $50 and $300. It just varied a lot depending on where we were living, but it always went up. We never had rent, stayed the same. So we moved every year, and in that we paid new pet fees, we paid new rent deposits, we might have paid cleaning fees or other little administrative fees, maybe application fees. All those things are involved when you're renting. You're more likely to move more often because of how the market fluctuates and because you're on a contractual basis rather than on a mortgage. Along with that, if you have pets, there's going to be pet fees, pet deposits, or pet rent. Or maybe all three, depending on where you live. We've lived in places where they had all three, and it was expensive. If you have pets, that is a very pricey thing when you are renting. Along with that is garage rentals. We never lived in a place where they didn't have some kind of rental for a garage or a covered parking spot. Most places we lived, we either got like one designated spot or two designated spots. And then if you wanted like covered parking or another shared saved spot for yourself, you would have to pay between $50 and $200 extra per month, which again, if you have a lot of cars or if you're a bigger family renting, that can get expensive if you have to pay for extra parking, or you just have to park further away depending on your situation. Along with that, the apartment that we lived in averaged, or when divided out, we were paying $1.71 per square foot. Compared to our house, when you take the whole lot size, we're only paying 20 cents per square foot. Now, if you take just the livable, like living spaces, that doesn't include the garage or the unfinished basement, we're paying $1.45 per square foot, which is still quite a bit cheaper. So overall, for the amount of space that we have, we are paying less for it. However, houses are expensive. You guys know this. This is why there's videos trying to talk you out of buying a house. Just a couple things off the top of my head is light bulbs, purchasing new locks when you move into your home, any kind of grass upkeep. You might have to buy a lawnmower, fertilizer, maybe you have to buy snow shovels, depending on what region you live in. We also have a monthly sinking fund of $400 that we put into a house fund because we know houses require upkeep and maintenance. We're going to have to replace our furnace, our hot water heater, our air conditioning. We'll eventually have to get the roof done, the siding fixed, paint done, and all of those are very expensive things, and so we have to put money aside every month in order to save up for those really big ticket items. Not to mention just general upgrades and improvements. If you want to paint, if you want to redo a bedroom, if we want to finish the basement. Along with that, we also moved quite a bit further away from work. We have a 20-minute commute time to work, where before we had about a 2-minute commute time. So we're paying more for gas, we're paying more to keep our cars in good shape, and we're just using them more, so they're going down in value faster. We have to buy more cleaning products. We have more bathrooms. It's harder to clean, it's harder to upkeep. We have to buy things like bug spray, and we had to buy like a broom specifically to sweep out the garage that we don't also use in our kitchen. And then we have to buy things like tools. We have to have a hammer. If you own a house, you should have a screwdriver and all those things. You can get away without owning all those things if you live in an apartment and you have a maintenance team that you can call to come and fix little stuff. Also, keep in mind that in an apartment or a rental, it is very easy to move year to year. If you buy a home, it is going to be a lot harder to move. There's a lot more work involved when you want to move. But along with that, you also have this massive investment that you are hopefully improving, and hopefully it is growing every single year. Our house has already gone up in value in the couple of months that we've lived here, not to mention all the upgrades we have already made to the home that would, if appraised, raise the value of the home. So if we wanted to move out next week, we would have actually probably made money on the house, even though we've only been here for 2 months. Also keep in mind, I have a whole other video, I'll link to it down below, talking about the initial expenses that we had to pay in order to actually move into this house. It was about $9,000, and that doesn't even include all of the fun stuff that we bought. So keep all this in mind, that even though renting on paper looks like it's more expensive, there's a lot of things that go into a home that don't get included in that monthly budget. So as you can see from my numbers, it looks like owning our home is cheaper, but we have most definitely spent more money in the past few months, and we will spend more money in the next year than we ever were while we were renting. Renting was definitely cheaper, and there are certain advantages to renting. A lot of people say that renting feels like you're throwing your money away, but I think that's because people are viewing the rental as a product where you don't get to keep it, rather than what it really is, which is more of a service. You're paying someone to provide you with a living space. They're taking care of all the maintenance for you. They're taking care of the lawn and the landscaping. You might have amenities like gyms and pools, and none of that stuff exists when you buy a home. So if you view renting more as a service and less as like an investment or a product, it makes a lot more sense for some people to rent rather than owning a home. Now, obviously, I think that owning a home is worth it. That's why we bought a home. And when you are in a good financial position to do so, buying a home can be a really good investment, and it can be a good move for your family, or depending on your circumstances, it might just be an easier situation than renting. That was definitely the case for us, and this is definitely going to be more of a long-term solution than what we were doing before. So yeah, those are my breakdowns of renting versus owning. Let me know if you guys have similar breakdowns, or if there's other videos like this. I'll find them and link them down in the description box. If you're trying to decide whether you're going to rent or buy next year, I really recommend doing your research and kind of doing a breakdown like this, and consider all of these additional costs that don't get added into those monthly expenses. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.